Sistas Bonafide. Sistas Bonafide. Sistas Bonafide. I got my sister and me.
I shouldn't come in with the old antics, right?
You shouldn't, but I would expect nothing less. So I already had it in mind that you was gonna do that. It's okay.
So what's up, beautiful people? Sistas Bonafide Sam of 2022.
Yes, Happy New Year, guys. We made it. Made it to a whole nother year. How you feeling about the year, girl? 2022.
Girl, listen, the motto of this year is to give it to God.
Yes.
Leave it in his hands. Let him take the wheel. And call it a day, because I think at this point there's really nothing else that could be done, girl.
There's nothing else. It's like either you're going to stress out about it or you're going to just give it to God. And look, I don't need the high blood pressure. I don't know. So we're just going to do it and give it to God. Yeah. But in retrospect, like, what do you think are like the things that you would want to leave in 2021? Like, is there anything that you found yourself indulging in or like thinking about, or any habits that you want to break, or whatever the case is that you want to leave in 2021?
Yeah, so I have a list.
Oh, okay, girl.
I have a list because I've been writing this down just for my own sake. I have like a different thought trajectory on just like how this year, how I don't expect too much. I'm not going to expect too much. Like, I'm just gonna go with the flow. All I do is pray to God every single night to keep my friends, my family, my household safe. I pray for everybody in this world, pray for healing of this world. And literally, that's it, right?
Right.
But there's a few things that bothered me and that has transpired over 2021. And so one of those things are, stop trying so hard to understand why people do the things that they do. Right? Because I think that we have come to the conclusion together and just generally that people are weird.
Yes.
People just move in such a weird way. And I'm done. I think I'm guilty of stressing over that sometimes. Because I think sometimes when you don't expect things from certain people, it mind boggles you. Like, it literally leaves you flabbergasted.
Right.
But I think in 2022, I'm over trying to understand why people do the things that they do. So that's one thing that I want to leave in 2021, girl.
Okay. No, I hear you on that front, because I think we're both guilty of expecting us from other people. And it's like when we don't get us from other people, it leads to disappointment and, you know, us thinking like, well, dang, why are they treating me this way? Like, what did I do? And it kind of leads you to think like you're the villain in that relationship or in that dynamic, whatever it is. But in reality, it's like you said, like, we can't expect too much, and we also just can't expect us and other people. Like, people are going to move differently. People show their love in different ways. People show their hateration in different ways too. Right. So it's important to identify those things and be able to just, you know, if it doesn't serve us, then just we leave it alone. But at the same time, it's like, you know, we got to kind of understand that, look, people are just different. They're weird, and we just can't expect ourselves from them. And that's just what it is.
I love the way you just said that. You can't expect yourself from them. Like, ourselves, each other, like our relationship with each other. But I learned that you also, like, when you do things, it has to be because that's who you are and that's what you want to do. Exactly. And you cannot expect somebody to give back to you the way you give to them. So I totally agree, and I love the way you said that. I mean, I'm ready to jump in. Okay.
Go ahead.
So the next toxic thing that we are going to leave in 2021. So growth, right? Because we're trying to promote growth, right? We want to grow in 2022. We want to elevate. So not staying mad at someone and still loving them, but just moving differently with them. So not staying mad, being forgiving, because I think we both know that, and I think this comes with a certain amount of growth and elevation within yourself to come to a place where you realize being mad at someone and holding a grudge only takes your own energy while that person is still living their life. So I'm learning that there's certain people that, you know, you can love for 100 different reasons, and then they can do something that kind of puts you off or makes you question something about them, right? So it doesn't mean you have to be mad at the person. Doesn't mean you can have a relationship with the person, and it doesn't mean you stop loving them. But I know that I'm going to move with you differently.
That's right.
Because I feel like if you're somebody that I consider close to me, or you're someone that I love, and you give me one reason, and only one, to question the way you move, that's not okay with me.
Right.
That's not okay with me. And I'm gonna now have that in the back of my mind. So now, like, I know. So I think you can kind of like allocate the way you give your energy to certain people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean what we now have is not genuine. I'm just giving you this part of my energy because you can't have that part.
Exactly.
And that's something like, girl, that's been on my mind so heavy.
That is I'm so happy that you raised that point, because like, I feel like the older we get, the more it is our responsibility to be more selective in how we, like you said, how we allocate our energy. And it's like, unless it's worth the trying to figure it out, like, yo, like, what, I need to know, did I do something to you? Like, what is it? Like, I need to know. And that's only gonna go but so far. Because if I know that I didn't do anything to you, like, I'm not gonna keep asking now. Like, I done asked you once, I might ask you again, depending on how we roll with each other, but a third time ain't gonna happen. Like, now it's something personal. I think all in all, it's like no more one-sided relationships anymore. Like, we're not gonna keep putting it out there for consumption, and then we're depleting our well because we trying to put so much into a relationship that ain't giving nothing back. Like, no ma'am, we're not doing that no more, madam. Like, what's this gonna be? And if you don't give me the answer that I'm looking for, I'm gonna make it up myself, because I'm not gonna keep asking you the same question. So it's like you said, I think you put it the most eloquently, like, we have to be very, very particular and selective about who we give our energy to. And if need be, we just gotta move differently with people. And I ain't gonna keep asking you more than once, boo. Maybe twice. But that third time, no. I'm not gonna ask you again.
Exactly. No, but I love that. I love what you said, though, because it's like, you do have to acknowledge that the cause may be something that you did.
Right. Exactly.
So you have to acknowledge that. You know, because sometimes we do things and we don't understand, and we don't see that we could have offended someone, or maybe we didn't do enough. Sometimes it's not always something you did. Sometimes it's because you didn't do enough, and we can all do better, especially when it comes to communication and checking up with each other and those things. But like you said, if I know in my heart of hearts that I didn't do anything, and when I ask you, you can't give me an answer, you could go be miserable all by your goddamn self, because I'm not doing that.
Pretty much.
I got a little idea. And tell me what you think, because we're going to keep it all the way real, right?
Yes.
And I'm only saying this because I've also been the victim of feeling a way about this. But I think, like, the growth in me is coming to terms with the fact that this is actually okay.
Right.
Okay. So tell me what you feel, if you feel me on this.
Okay.
Leaving people on red and that being okay.
Ooh, okay.
Right?
Yes.
Not every single thing requires a response.
Yeah.
So why is that not okay? And I'm only saying this because I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of feeling like sometimes when you're talking to people, you don't look. I'm just trying to keep it real in 2022.
Listen.
Sometimes when you're having a conversation, it's like, do I keep talking and it be meaningless? Just because I don't want the person to feel a way that I left them on red.
Right.
Now, if you leaving me on red because you being stank, that's different.
Right.
That's a different story. Like, I'm not about to be like, and even that being okay. Because what if you write somebody and they could they happen to glance at that message, but at that moment can't answer?
Right.
Like, what if somebody, okay, just because you have a minute to read something don't mean you have a whole minute to start typing a whole message.
That's true. That is true.
For somebody to look at their message, leave you on red and answer you later. Or sometimes there's like that last message that kind of like, and I say this because this is even like something that happens between me and my husband. Like, so it's just like, if you know mutually the conversation is done. Like, it could be something simple. It's like, okay, everything is gonna end with a I love you or a or okay babe. Like, cause then who's gonna get the last okay babe? Like,
and how many okay babes you gonna be exchanging here? Like, what is happening?
Exactly. So it's kind of like, it's like a weird thought I've been having, because I've also been guilty of like feeling away, because girl, people be leaving me on red all the time.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm just like, okay. But right away, because I feel like this is the thought process in the world we're used to living in, you automatically assume that somebody feels away. Right. Like, what? But why isn't the first thought, and I say this for myself, like, you're so dumb for thinking that if somebody leaves you on red, that they feel away or they're acting funny. What if they in the middle of a chaotic situation?
That's true.
What if they're African work? What if they're just doing something? Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Now, if you leave me on red, but your energy is funny, different story.
That's different. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what you think about that.
I hear you. I do. But there's not going to be there's going to be a limit to how many left on red opportunities I'm going to give you now. Like, I'm going to just keep it 100%, because I feel like, okay, if we all get tired of, I'm so guilty of pretend texting. And what I mean by that is like, oh, I know I responded to you, but I really didn't. I just responded in my head. Like, I pretended to text you. So I know that I didn't. And I'm like, oh, shoot, like I forgot to text back. But I obviously read the message. So we're all guilty of that. And I completely empathize with that, because I go through it too. But if you're gonna keep doing it, and like you're not like saying, yo, and my bad, like I literally got caught up in something, and you're just doing it like you said, if the energy doesn't match like why you're, the authenticity of like why you're not responding to my messages or why you're leaving me on red, and if it's happening a little too much, it's like, okay, what? Okay, well, like, what, is there something going on? Like, are you first? I think like maybe just saying like, I'm noticing like we haven't really been completing our conversations the way we normally do. Is there something wrong? Like, did I say something to offend you? Like, what was it? So, and if that person can't answer that question, like we just going back to the conversation to one of your things that you mentioned before, like now we're going to have to start to change the dynamic of how we communicate, because I'm not going to keep messaging you. You're going to keep leaving me on red. Like, I feel like we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Some days some people might have a more busier day because they have more responsibilities, and some people may not. But at some point out of those 24 hours, you have your phone in your hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, we all make time for things that are important to us and for people that are important to us.
I think for me, it's more like not automatically jumping to a conclusion that if somebody doesn't answer me right away, that there's it's a personal thing. I'm personally guilty of thinking that way. Right. My mind automatically goes to negativity sometimes. And not even on my part, because I just start thinking like, I'm be honest. I'm be honest. problem? Like,
I'm guilty of it too.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I think like, so yes, so leaving people on red with exceptions. Like, it's okay, because not in every moment are you going to be able to follow up with somebody at that exact moment. So more so for me, like, not always thinking that it's a person's issue. Like, somebody else could have something going on in that moment that could prevent them from not responding, as long as it's not followed up by shade.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
that's a good one.
Yeah. So you want me to keep it coming?
Yeah, keep it coming.
So this is a little long, but hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
So it being okay to not tell people how you feel, right?
Okay.
Because before I continue, because there's always this, you gotta tell people how you feel. How could you move on if you don't tell people how you feel? I feel like there's an exception to that rule, though. If telling you how I feel is going to further leave me bothered, I'm not doing it, because it's not worth it. It's not worth me continuing to be bothered, because I think sometimes telling somebody how you feel when you're not dealing with a person that's rational and open-minded could further just put me in a space, or like, you know how you telling somebody how you feel and they're just totally not, like, whoa, we're not even here.
Yeah. Right.
Like, you're not even getting, close, and that's so frustrating. So it being okay to not tell people how you feel, because I don't want to waste any more time or energy or breath on it, right?
Right.
And I definitely don't want to deal with your shade or feelings after. If it's not good for me, it's not bottling it up, quote unquote, if it's not good for me.
Right.
You know, sometimes, you know, you tell people how you feel, and then you got people that don't even want to try to understand you. And you know what? I'm not dealing with your shade. I'm not dealing with now you feel away kind of thing, because you're so wrapped up in your people that you're not even taking a moment to grab. Not doing it.
That's a huge one, I feel like. And I think I've experienced this, but I just couldn't put my finger on exactly what it was. And I think that you nailed it. To elaborate on what you said, from my personal opinion too, it's like, you know, you explain yourself about how you feel and everything like that. And then the person that you're explaining it to is only once, like, selectively hearing what they want to hear, and only saying, okay, well, I'm like, if I'm telling somebody, okay, X, Y, Z, they only hearing part of Z and none of X and Y. Like, are you not hearing everything that I'm saying? Like, so you clearly are not taking the time to understand exactly how I feel and try to, you know, listen and try to take heed to how I'm feeling. So why should I continue to keep wasting my time talking to you about this? Like, it makes no sense. I cannot keep draining myself to try to, you know, make somebody understand how I feel. Like, if you don't get it, what is the point? Like, then if you don't get me, then look, we don't need to be talking like that. I'm sorry, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's just so much I should have to explain to you, especially if you know me well enough, or whatever the case is. Like, and if we not cool like that, then I definitely ain't gotta explain myself to you. We could keep it pushing, go our separate ways. But like, if you know me and if you consider me a loved one or a friend, I shouldn't have to keep explaining myself, and you should be considerate enough to listen to every aspect of why I feel the way that I do, and not just be selectively hearing what you want to hear, or hearing what's convenient or easy for you to understand. And even if you don't get it, like, ask, like, you know, I'm not quite understanding what you mean by that. Like, could you elaborate so that way I know how to fix it? But like, if you just, you know, going and getting your feelings and not taking heed to what I'm saying, I ain't got time for that. I ain't gonna keep explaining myself, child.
Like, come on. And then I also feel like, you know, there's certain people in your life that you already know what you're going to receive from them.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, like, and then sometimes that same person will be the one to say, well, why didn't you just talk to me about it? Because I'm not trying to knock on a steel door and you ain't never gonna hear me. Exactly. Like, because now it's taking my energy And I'm not doing that. It's too one-sided. So no, I'm not going to tell you how I feel. Yeah. And listen, I feel like we at a point in time that, look, I'm no longer validating the way I'm able to move forward by how I open up to somebody.
Yes.
I'm not doing that. Like, listen, in this life, no, I'm not, but how are you going to move? No, I'm going to move on. Right. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to be fine, and I'll deal with it. I'm not saying I'm going to take SHIT from people. No. But if you're just somebody that's just not willing to understand, I'm not doing this.
I don't blame you.
I'm not doing it.
I don't blame you. Yes.
I'm about to start tainting my energy. Like, you're not doing that. So
I hear you.
You feel me?
I feel you. Okay, go ahead, girl. Keep going.
Go ahead, girl. So, talking to people at face value, believing when someone shows you who they are, stop trying to convince yourself that they're different.
Yes.
Like, I don't care if it's your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. I feel like, and I'm saying this because these are things that I've done personally that I don't want to do anymore, and I've actually been stopped doing. I don't care if someone has a title in your life that kind of already puts them on this kind of like pedestal to be a certain way to you because of their title to you.
Right.
But they show you something toxic, or they're toxic towards you, and then you say, but you know what, it's this or it's that. No, it don't matter who you are to me. I'm gonna believe who you show me, and like I said previously, I'm gonna love you, but I'm gonna move differently with you. Like, I'm going to start taking people at face value. No more making excuses for not even people that you love.
That's right.
I'm sorry, because I feel like we're at a time and we're in a place that especially if you are my family or you are my friend, you are somebody that is close to me that knows me. Right. And I have to question you. No, I'm not making any excuses for you. I don't care how much you got going on. We all got stuff going on.
That's right.
Listen, I just feel like with me, there's a code. I don't care what I have going on. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not, when something comes up in your life, you start changing your energy towards people. I'm not with that. And I have no space or room for it in 2022, girl.
I feel you on that. And I feel like when you go through things, that's the time when you kind of like lean on the people that you love the most. Like I feel like some people detach themselves and that's okay too, but like, just be like, look, this is how I deal with XYZ. It's nothing personal to you, towards you, please believe it. But like, this is just a really rough time for me, and I just need some mental space, but just know that it's not personal. But like, for some people, like some people just don't know how to keep that same energy. Like when they go through stuff, like we said, everybody goes through stuff. And I feel like we at a very big age at this point, like we all big and grown to the point where like we can, we should know how to move in certain situations. Yes, like I know I'm guilty of it, where like sometimes certain situations will knock me down and I'm just like, yo, I don't know how I'm gonna move past this, whatever the case is. But I am cognizant of the fact that like, look, the people around you didn't do this to you. So
here you go.
Don't take it out on them. And you may not, think that you are, but like the negative energy or like the snappiness or like the detachment, like that's forms of you taking it out on the people that surround you, especially when they're, they want to know what's going on with you. So it's like, kind of like keeping in the back of your mind, like, look, we're trying to be here for you. And, if you can't accept that, then that's fine. But like, that don't mean you have to, you have to accept it and like deal with it. Like, no, like when you ready to come out your little funk, then you let me know. But I'm not going to keep tolerating it from you. That's not fair.
To model you through it.
Right, exactly.
I'm not doing that because we're all mother and grown. No, and we all have problems.
Right. I think that's important. Like, say what you need from people. Like, if you, like, to me, it's like, okay, if you need more support from somebody, then just say that. Like, yeah, everybody handles things differently, and I can appreciate that. But like I said, if you need that time to yourself, then so be it. But like, just be aware of how you treat people in your darkest moments, because not everybody is still gonna be there on the other side when you come out of that. You can't just pick me up off the shelf when you're ready. Like, no.
Exactly. We ain't rag dolls. Like, what you thought?
Right.
This is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know you're gonna put me on this, and I'm going to say it, and it is what it is. In 2022, what I want to leave in 2021 is stressing over the fact that people who you think should support you or not.
Yes.
I just have to say it, because this was one of my biggest bothers in 2021. So like, listen, at this point, like we said, I'm done trying to understand why people move the way they do. We can literally see when somebody is like deliberately not supporting us. And you expect that from people because it is what it is. But there's just certain people you don't expect it from. So I'm just coming, like, even though it's like hurtful and everything like that.
Right.
I'm right now I'm in a space where I'm just like, I'm okay with it.
That's right.
I'm okay with it. It's all good. We don't gotta talk about it. It's no questions asked. We just both are going to continue to move forward in our lives, and us XYZ, me XYZ, and you and XYZ, it is what it is. Like, that's just it. It is what it is. And I say that because that's more of something for myself. Like, me really being bothered and trying to really understand, because like you said, you sometimes have to remember you can't expect yourself from people. So when something like that happens and you like, yo, but if the tables were turned, like, I would be your biggest cheerleader. Mm-hmm. I would literally be like your biggest cheerleader. And it's like, you know what? It's all good. And it's okay. It just comes to the fact, I come to the fact that it's okay.
No, girl, we had plenty of discussions about this, and it's true, because nobody got time to be trying to figure out what goes on in these people's brains and why they move the way that they do, and why they just don't double tap, or why they don't share our stuff, or why they don't watch. We're not gonna think about that no more. Like, that's passe. We're not doing that no more. Like, if you're not gonna just double tap or share or watch or comment or like, we just gonna leave you be. But know that we see you.
Right.
Like,
and it's yes, exactly. And you know what? That's okay. So I think the perfect thing to kind of like top this all off, and it's gonna be like one of the mottos for 2022 is, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to pray for you.
That's it.
That's literally the last thing I have written down. I'm gonna pray for you.
That's it. That's the easiest thing you could do for people, child. Pray for them, because
pray for people, girl.
That's it. That's it. The only one thing that I could think of for me, because I didn't really I was really definitely feeding off of what you were saying, but I think the one thing I could think about for me, like a toxic trait that I am just trying to get rid of, is moving too fast on every single thing. Like,
yes.
And when I say moving fast, I mean that in all aspects. So like physically moving fast. Like, Ebony, slow down. Like, slow down. Just because something ain't get done right away, that don't mean you gotta rush to do it. Sit down. Like, you getting too old. Mentally slowing down. Like, trying to relax my thoughts at the proper time and not over dwelling on things that I just cannot change, or like, that are things that, that have happened in the past. I have to stop dwelling on that stuff. Like, just slowing down my thoughts. And just like I said, just slowing down in general, because it's like life moves so quickly already. And if you don't slow down and try to enjoy the process and learn and fall down and get back up and make these mistakes as you go, it's like it's gonna pass you by. So it's kind of like, just slow down. Like to me, moving too fast for me is just, it has been very toxic, and I feel like I've done so much of that I just need to take a step back and kind of analyze and see where I can work smarter and not harder. And you know what I'm saying? I think that will kind of that will come in time. I'm not going to say like I'll completely accomplish that in 2022, but I do feel like this is the starting point, the jump off point for me trying to like implement this into my day-to-day life and how I feel I should be moving going forward. Just slow down. It's going to be all right. It's going to get done.
I love that. I love that. Hey, you know, our usual hustle and bustle and the keeping up and the way that we're used to doing things,
Right.
I've come to a conclusion that I think at this point, it's literally just surviving.
Yes.
Like I feel like I'm literally at a point, and I think most of us probably feel this way, where you're literally living to just try to survive.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? So if you don't put things into perspective and then start to see and prioritize, like, I'm sorry, but the last year or two has changed perspective.
Yes.
Changed priority. Has changed us.
Yep.
The way you deal with things. Everything. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get to a point in your life that all you do, well, all I do, I'm going to speak for myself, is pray to God that I wake up and stay up.
That's right.
What else is there but to just take things as they come? Like you said, move more slowly. Don't let certain things that would normally bother you. Because at this point, you know, it kind of feels like we are on crunch time.
Yes.
You know, so if we do not spend what feels like not enough time that we have being as content as possible, then what are we actually doing? And of course you have your responsibilities. Of course there's things you have to do. But really just taking a step back and reassessing, because listen, at this point, we all just trying to survive.
Survive, exactly. Because it's like, look, it's not worth your health. It's not worth jeopardizing your physical, mental, emotional health by moving so quickly. Like, the work is still going to be there. The responsibilities are still going to be there. Like, so it's about high time that like we just kind of take a step back and reevaluate things and move slower. Like I'm slowing down. I'm not. No.
It feels good. It feels good to be back. We just want to thank everybody that has like carried us through 2021 from when we started back in March.
Oh my God.
When we started back in March until now. So listen, subscribe, go follow us on our other social media platforms. We're Sistas Bonafide on Instagram, TikTok. And yes, like, let's do this. We got exciting things coming up.
This is gonna be a great year. Like I see it already, and we just gonna keep doing what we do. This is what we enjoy doing, so we love it. And thank you guys so much for your support.
All right, y'all. So stay blessed and stay beautiful.
Yes. Take care, you guys. Bye.
It's official. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Ding. Sistas Bonafide.